Hello, my name is Kwesi. I've helped a lot of people travel around the world to study in China, to study in Europe, to study in UK, and to study in US. Today, I'm going to show you what you need to know before you go for the US student visa interview. Stay with me. So, the F1 visa interview is not difficult and also it's not easy. They want you to be original and they want you to answer the questions truly. First of all, I'll show you the style of the interview. The interview will take you about 3 to 5 minutes and you'll be standing throughout the interview. And your job is to convince the visa officer to give you the visa. The visa officer will need some very few things from you. Make sure you're going to tell the truth, don't try to lie. And the visa officer is going to check with questioning to see if you are a real student. The visa officer is also going to make sure or check to see if you return home after your studies. There are four main areas where the questionings will come from. First is the university choice. Okay, over here you see your choice of university. Question will come around that area. The second will be asking you questions concerning your academics. The third, you are looking at your finances, they'll be asking you questions in the area of your finances. And the last will be questions concerning your postgraduate. After you graduate, what are you going to do? So let's jump into the first question. Okay, so as I told you earlier, the first question will be around your choice of university. So they are going to ask you, what are you going to do in the United States? And make sure you give them a simple answer. Make sure you don't give them a memorized answer. Give them an answer in your own words. So you are going to say, oh, you are going to the US to study in so university. Okay, don't talk too much. Just answer the question briefly and politely. Second question, they might ask you, what is your major? You can tell with the information on the I-20, you should give them the same information. If your major is international relations, make sure you tell them your major is international relations. If you go telling them something different, you are going to have yourself in trouble because the information on the I-20, they will have that same information with them. So make sure the information match. What is your specialization? So they ask you what you are going to specialize in. You know your specialization. Make sure you give the correct information. So they might ask you, why choose the US? So your answer will be very simple. You say the US have the most finest institutions. That's why you want to study in the United States. Just make it simple, okay? Then next topic of question will come under academics. They are going to ask you, did you apply for any other university? If you did, you say yes, you did. And you can mention the name of the university if you want. If you don't want, just tell them you did. They'll go ahead and ask you what's the name of the university. Okay. They might also ask you how many universities did you apply to. You tell them the number. If they want to know details, they will follow up with questions. Okay. The next question they might ask you is, what's your GPA? Please get to know your GPA before you go for the interview. Some students don't even know what the GPA is. Okay. Research on that in your GPA. Most of the times your GPA is on your transcript. So get to know your GPA. So if the visa officer asks you what's your GPA, you can tell the visa officer what your GPA is. The next question they'll ask you, what is your GMAT or GRE scores? If you wrote GMAT or if you wrote GRE, you can tell them your scores. But if you didn't write any of these exams, just tell them your school didn't require you to write the exam. And that's it. And if your school waived GMAT or GRE scores, you can tell them it was waived for you. Next is your financials. That's the money side. They are going to ask you who will sponsor your studies. You can tell them if you are sponsoring your studies yourself, you tell them you are the one sponsoring your studies. If you're on scholarship, you tell them you're on scholarship. If your company or whoever is sponsoring, just tell them If your company is sponsoring, you tell them your company is sponsoring your studies. They will follow up with another question. What is the occupation of your sponsor? If you mention your uncle sponsored you, they are going to follow up with this question. So you mention the occupation of your sponsor. Do you have any other scholarship? If you have a scholarship, you tell them. If not, you tell them no. How many children does your sponsor have? This is a very tricky question. Make sure you say the truth, don't lie, and try to be smart. Okay, good. Post-graduation plans, they are going to try to know what you want to do after you graduate. So the question will be, what will you do after graduation? You should tell the truth. So you are going to tell them, maybe after graduation you are going to come back home to work at home, or you are going to return back to your home country to start up a company or start up a business or to look for a job. The next question they might ask you is, do you plan to return home? Do you plan to return back home? Your answer should be yes, you do plan to return back home. You can follow up with the answer saying you plan to return back home to find a job. They will ask you, do you have a job in mind after graduation? Make sure you answer yes, because all they want to do is make sure that you are coming back home. If you give them any impression that you're not coming back home, then you are going to find yourself in trouble. So yeah, you can answer yes to that question. These are the things you shouldn't do during the visa interview. Don't talk too much. They've been given limited time to interview people. If you try to talk too much, it's like you're wasting their time, and it will go against you. So please don't try to talk too much. Make your answers polite, short, and brief. Okay? Nice. The next thing you are going to do is make sure you don't lie. Don't try to lie. These people are psychologists. They train them to. They've been trained for this, and they've been doing this for years. So they can see who's lying and who's not. So please don't try to lie. Next thing is, don't present fake documents. These people have been working in the embassies for years. So when they see fake documents, they can identify documents very easy. They can identify the fake and original. So please don't try to do this. It will go against you. These are the things you should do. Dress well and make sure you're relaxed. Do some breathing exercise. You can breathe in, you can breathe out to reduce stress and tension. Okay? Yeah. Also, one thing I want to talk to you about is try to look at the forehead of the visa officer. In some African cultures, it's disrespectful if you look in the eyes of the elderly people. But then in European culture, if they are talking to you and don't look in their eyes, that means you are telling lies or you have something to hide. Okay? So try as much as possible to look at their forehead. If you look at their forehead from the visa officer point of view, he or she will see it as you are looking into his or her eyes. Okay? Maybe if you look directly into the person's eyes, you might be agitated, or maybe you might be under pressure, or it will cause some tension for you. Just try to look at the person's forehead. Okay? Yeah. From his or her point of view, it will be like you're looking in his or her eyes. Then answer your questions respectfully. Don't try to be arrogant. If they ask you a question, return with an answer. Don't push out a document to them when they ask you a question. Example, if they ask you what school you are going to attend, don't just dish out your admission notification to them. They ask you a question and needs an answer. So this is what you're supposed to do. If you go doing anything different other than what you are supposed to do, the response. You are going to have yourself to blame. So this is the end of the video. I'm going to wish you good luck in your endeavors. I hope you get a visa and join us here in the United States. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share my videos with whoever is interested. And I'll catch you later. I'm out of here.